Thank you for turning to page 121. Still feeling pretty under the weather, so I'm going to just close the week out with a couple more short videos. Hope to be back to normal by Monday. So today we're going to take a look at a magic item out of the Dungeon Master's Guide. A hammer +3 Dwarven thrower. This is a nifty little weapon, and I'm going to take a look at the weapon itself and then tell you how we use it at our table. And there's some dispute about one aspect of this weapon, actually two aspects, so I'll go ahead and I'll address them. So a hammer +3 Dwarven thrower appears to be a standard +2 hammer, but if in the hands of a Dwarven fighter and a special command word is spoken, its full potential is realized. The +3 bonus is gained, and it gains the following characteristics. The hammer has a 60-foot range and will return to its wielder's hand in much the same manner as a boomerang would. It has +3 bonus to hit and on damage. When so hurled, the hammer does double damage against all opponents except giants, including ogres, ogre magi, trolls, and attins, against which it causes triple damage, plus bonus of 3. So one of the first things that rose when we read this over back, a billion years ago, was do you triple the bonus of the hammer itself? Because the way this is worded is kind of strange. Against which it causes triple damage, plus bonus of 3. So the way we interpret that, and this is strictly the interpretation of my table and the one that makes sense to me, is that indeed the +3 gets tripled, doubled or tripled depending on what the hammer is striking when hurled. So for instance, if the hammer did 4 points of damage, base damage, against a giant, a hill giant, you would add the 3 to that and then triple it. So 4 + 3 is 7, tripled is 21. The other point of contention with this weapon had been, and still is, in some circles, do you get strength bonuses when throwing a hammer? And my answer is yes. There's enough stuff in the books to support that, in my opinion, although the books never expressly state it. We have always played it that way. Maybe it's a holdover from original D&D. I honestly don't remember. I have researched this after a few viewer comments said that I was claiming it was rules as written, but they took me to task on it. And frankly, what I found was kind of nitpicky. I think there's enough to defend the idea of adding strength bonuses to it. So for instance, if my dwarf with the Dwarven thrower had a girdle of hill giant strength, they would get the additional +3 to hit and +7 damage. So now my example before of hitting a giant with this hammer doing 4 points of damage, +3, making it 7, triple to 21, and then adding 7 more on top of it for a total of 28 points of damage in a throw. We only allow one throw per round, and weapon specialization will only apply if you took it as a hammer specialist throwing the hammer. If you took a weapon specialization just wielding the hammer in melee, then we don't allow any weapon specialization to affect the throw. And that's a ruling I think is pretty good. In my opinion, it's pretty good. So as I said, I've had some pushback from viewers that said, hey, you're saying that's rules as written, and it's not. It's a house rule. You should clarify that. So I'm clarifying it now. We do allow strength bonuses. And even if it's a natural strength, if it's a dwarf that has an 1848 strength, then he gets his exceptional strength bonus on top of the +3 for the hammer. We also give, correctly, any dexterity bonus that the character may have when using a missile weapon. Again, a dwarf is not going to have a real high dex usually, but it is something that might come up, and if it does, yes, we give the dexterity bonus, we give the strength bonus, plus the +3 of the hammer, all bonuses to hit, and then of course we give the bonus of the hammer itself if thrown, and it's either doubled or tripled, including the +3 and the strength stacked on top of that. In melee, in the hands of a Dwarven fighter, it is simply a +3 hammer, +3 attack, +3 damage. And if the fighter has exceptional strength, he gets those bonuses, of course. And if he has a weapon specialization, in that case, we would allow him to get the bonus for weapon specialization. But as I said, we only allow it to be thrown once, even if somehow someone If somebody came up with a backstory where their family owned a dwarven thrower and his mission was to retrieve it, therefore he took specialization in hammer throwing. That's perfectly allowable as a weapon specialization, but he would not get the bonuses for specialization if he was wielding it in hand-to-hand combat. So that's it. That's our interpretation of that, and our interpretation of stacking the strength bonus with a hurled weapon. I think absolutely makes sense, and that's the way we've done it at my table for over 40 years. Interested in counterpoints, politely viewed or politely worded counterpoints to it. Some of the previous comments I've gotten got a little vicious and even a little personal. But I'm always interested in expanding horizons, always interested in learning new things. So that's all I've got to say today on the +3 hammer Dwarven Thrower. One interesting note is Obmi, one of the main villains in the early Gord the Rogue books, the main villain of the second one, wields a Dwarven Thrower in that novel, and in fact throws it at Gord and clips him on the shoulder with it and stuff. So that's pretty cool too to have encountered that in the book. So Obmi, of course, made his first appearance in Frost Giant Jarl, I want to say, or the Halls of the Fire Giant Chief, one of those two. So Obmi was there as the advisor to him, and I think Obmi actually made his first appearance in Castle Greyhawk. I'd have to double check my sources on that, but since this video is not about Obmi, I didn't research him too much. So that's all I've got to say today on the Hammer +3 Dwarven Thrower. Thank you for your time. Hopefully I'll be off these shorter format videos by next week and able to do just a regular filming schedule. Although, a side note, the shorter ones have proven to be kind of popular. So I am going to still do some of these just to break things up and frankly make the filming schedule a little easier for me. I've been turning out usually between 60 and 75 minutes of original content a week. The content itself is not the problem. It's all the research that goes into creating that content. So I've been looking for a little way to take it back a little bit. And that what I might do is just roll in a couple of shorter videos now and again. Take some of the load off of me. But that's all I've got today on page 121. Thank you for your time. And please like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.